Alright, so we're going to try Paul's recommended deck. It's basically a no Rifleman Razorback deck. I think it's going to struggle a little bit with anti-vehicle duties because you're going to have to open barracks. You have to open your war factory first, then probably want to go air tower. And then you're going to have to go barracks, so you're going to need all three of your buildings before you can really fight things. But it does have Razorback Pitbull Missile, which is a pretty good core. And that has a tech splash. I think with zones, it doesn't really make sense to have not Liang. Oh, sorry, to have Liang. I think it makes more sense to have like a sandstorm with Liang. But yeah, I'm gonna try this out. We'll see how it goes.
3, 2, 1. New objective received.
Okay, so we're gonna have to open dogs. We can maybe open missiles against Nod. Oops, dogs with W. He's opened Pitbull. What the hell? Okay, am I getting Pitbull rushed? Already moving the harvester to the top is paying dividends because it takes his Pitbull so much longer to get there. Alright, we'll just counter with our own Pitbull. That seems easy enough. Alright, so we're already ahead in the Pitbull mirror because he's shot the dogs a few times. We'll just block him off. Alright, so we're going to trade our dogs for his Pitbull basically, which is a pretty good trade for us. Alright, yeah, so we basically just traded dogs for Pitbull. Grab another Pitbull and go after his harvester. Oh, he doesn't have one, or is it all the way down here? That's our troops, sure. So I have to go Razorback, really? Like, I can use dogs, but I kind of need a 2v1. I probably have to go Razorback to fight missiles. A little slow. We're going to struggle to get there in time for the first missile, but luckily our opponent took so long to make the missiles because he didn't go Harvester first. But this right here is already, you can see, an issue with the deck. If our opponent had opened Harvester, he would have had these missiles a lot sooner. And then he probably would have had them in time for the first missile, and I would not have had my Razorback necessarily in time. And then, here's the next issue. He's spamming these Pitbulls. I have to go barracks to have a good answer to them. Which means I've already had to commit to all three buildings just to fight his barracks and war factory. Which means that I'm definitely going to be behind in the early game. There's a Shatterer, interesting. So for the Shatterer we're going to need an Orca Bomber probably. I don't want to get into a Pitbull mirror again. So we'll go with the Orca Bomber here. Maybe get this Pitbull at the same time. Alright, nice. And then also because we're playing we have this tech splash of zone troopers, but Orca Bombers are very expensive. So it's very difficult to save up for the zone trooper whilst also making Orca Bombers. Which means you're kind of forced to commit to one or the other. We do win that game fairly easily because he went Pitbull first. But yeah, you either have to commit to the Orca Bomber or the Zone Trooper probably. You can't really afford both.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, so we're going to open with dogs this time and go and have a look. Opponent's playing Solomon.
Harvester ready.
There's a Harvester. Might be able to block it. Probably not. Probably too late. Yeah, too late. He's opened barracks, which is good for us. He might not have opened barracks if he'd seen the dogs. Ooh, jump jets first. Okay. This is actually fine. As long as you get a 2v1 with the dogs, you can do some serious damage to them. If he tries to ignore the dogs, then they just get killed super quickly as well. So, yeah, this is pretty good. Pretty good for us. Jump jets and missiles are a little unusual. It's not. If he has jump jets and missiles and he's playing Solomon, that makes me think he's probably playing a good Solomon deck rather than like a double harvester tech Solomon deck, because that is the standard build for like the base kill Solomon deck. Although opening jump jets is very weird. You could just open missiles. So we're gonna go into Razor, which obviously we have to do because it's our only good anti-infantry. He is going double harvester still. Okay. We'll just get a Pitbull and go harass. But mainly we want to just be charging this missile. So we'll leave the dogs here to do that. And then we'll have the Razorback kill off these missiles and protect the Pitbull if he tries to defend his harvester, which he probably will. Probably just going to grab some missiles. I just want something cheap and non-committal to put on the pad here. Alright, so that went pretty well. He's already got his tech lab, which is kind of scary. Because of the way the start of the game went, we didn't really pressure the pads at all for the first 30 seconds or so. But he's actually got a lot of stall out of just the way the game played out, which is one of the things I dislike about this map. Often the fight starts above the missiles, which means that you don't get on the pads early. And if your opponent just waits before they make their second harvester, so you don't know you're meant to be charging, they can get a tech unit out pretty quickly, like this one. Luckily, we've got harvester kills, so we have a boatload of cash. So The sandstorm shouldn't be an issue at all. Where's it going? Is he trying to base rush me? I think he's trying to base rush me. I guess that's the kind of thing that works in whatever league he plays in normally. We actually really need to lose this dog so we can get some zone troopers. It's kind of annoying. This top cap is hurting me quite a lot. Come on. There we go. Alright, let's get some zones out. Alright, cool. So now we win easily. Interesting strategy from my opponent there. I mean, it almost worked because I was top cap, but not really because I still had the missiles on them. Okay, 430 tib, end of game. Feels good.
You are victorious. 3, 2, 1. New objective received.
Alright, I guess we'll open missiles against Nord. If he opens militants, it's pretty bad though, yeah. Now we have to save up for dogs, so let's get some stall. Our deck definitely wants to stall as much as possible, especially against Nord. Because we need to get all three of our buildings open.
Cheers, big boy.
Yeah, this is kind of the issue. The deck is pretty weak early game. Oh, and laser drones now as well. We really need to get our third building up and running, but it's kind of difficult to do this early in the game. This is basically what I was talking about at the start when I was saying about how the deck's going to be really, really weak early game because you need all three buildings. Like, you're just going to lose first missile a lot because you can't beat barracks in the early game. Alright, let's get a Razorback. Ooh, stealth tank, that's not good for me. Alright, so we'll back up. Now we'll just do the classic missiles plus Razorback. And then we save up for our more expensive units.
Unit ready.
We just need to keep our Razorback alive. I don't care about losing some missiles along the way, we just want to keep the Razorback alive. And then I guess we're probably going to save up for zone troopers, given that Borka's not going to be great against the stealth tanks. This is basically why the Razorback is so good. Because you can just play missiles plus Razorback. And then you also just save up a ton of cash because the missiles are so efficient. So now we've managed to get zones off one harvester quite easily. All we need to do is make sure the Razorbacks survive. I mean, we lost that one, but it's too late now, I think, because we already have the zones out. Get a fresh Razorback. Try and take out his harvester as well. Alright, let's back up. I don't want to lose him to the flames. And now, once we have this much money, we just do the same strategy of missile plus Razorback, except now our missiles are zone troopers, which is way harder for our opponent to deal with. Now, obviously, this has a lot of power late game. Once you get all your buildings open and so on, the deck is very powerful. The issue is that if you lose first missile regularly, which this deck will probably do, because it's quite weak first missile, and then your opponent is playing tech, then you can just be dead. That's the issue. Like, if your opponent is playing tech that happens to beat your Zone Trooper Borka, which is quite a lot of tech units, then you just lose. Because you lose first missile to their barracks, and then you just lose to whatever their tech is.
3, 2, 1. New objective available. Time to harvest. Building online.
Alright, so it's possible a better strategy would be to go straight into Razorback from the barracks. So you open with the fact his harvester is here and he's open shocks and he's playing Solomon means he's like definitely going to go double harvester. So I'm getting on the pad as quickly as possible.
Unit ready.
So here I probably just want to go straight into Razorback as quickly as I can.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
You can be my wingman. Yes.
And Talon. Alright, well we have Pitbull for that, it's not a problem. Should be a pretty easy first missile here.
Missile launched.
Cool. Looks like we're gonna lose the Razorback to the Talon. Yeah, we do, sad. Make another one, I guess. Deciding whether or not I want to save up for my tech unit. There's the second harvester. Predictable. Pretty close to that tech unit. Yeah, I think now that we see Orca, we want to... I think we're so close to zones, it's better just to go zones than it is to get missiles here.
Unit ready.
And we'll leave our Razorback with our zones.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Grab some missiles, just take out this time.
Warning.
Oh dear,
Ion cannon
not good.
activated.
Alright, we lose the zones, but we managed to keep the Razorback alive. Now we're going to have to spam missiles. Keeping the Razorback live there was a big deal.
Unit ready.
In fact, our opponent just isn't even contesting this tab. Alright then, cool.
Missile
I guess we just win.
cancelled.
Feels amazing.
Nuclear weapon launched. Objective complete. 3, 2, 1. New objective.
Okay, so I'm going to
received.
try opening missiles and then going Razorback if my opponent has
Building
gone
online.
helipad. Or barracks, sorry. Right, so he's got dogs, so actually we're just going to make missiles now. Now we need to find a way to get to Razorback in time to fight off infantry if he makes infantry. We might just be able to missile spam at the moment. If he's just making dogs, we can just missile spam. Yeah, we definitely don't want to make another building until we know what he's doing
Unit
next.
lost.
So we'll just keep making missiles for now. Razorback. Okay, so we'll go Pitbull, I guess, although it's not really great.
Unit lost.
I don't really feel like my opponent played that missile great, but if he had Mohawk there, he could have definitely beaten us on that first missile. Yeah, now here come missiles as well, which is awkward. Now we have to go Razorback, which is very expensive again. He does have Mohawk. If he had Mohawk, why did he make a Pitbull to fight my Pitbull instead of just making a Mohawk? That seems like a pretty big misplay from my opponent there, honestly. Alright, so now we're just going to missile plus Razorback combo, which is pretty much just the nuts. And we'll just save up for a zone, probably. We're pretty far ahead here. How long? Yeah, we're pretty close to zones. We only need like 80 tiers, so we'll just hang out. Wait for zone troopers.
Unit lost.
Okay, this might have been a mistake to go for zones. I think they might be a little too slow here. Go zones, go.
Unit ready.
Yeah, I think waiting for zones was a misplay.
Launch.
Oops, I just missed it there as well. I didn't need to move the zone.
Major structural damage.
Should have just gone missiles instead of zones. Took too long to get them.
Unit lost.
But now we have third missile, where we have a lot more income, so we can just spam zone troopers. Hopefully.
Unit lost. Unit ready. Unit lost.
Need to stop him getting a 2v1. His Razorback. Alright.
Unit ready.
The Angron won't do a lot, but it'll do something.
Unit ready.
This is also another reason why I would prefer Sandstorm in this spot rather than zones. Because zones don't really beat Razorbacks that well, not on one harvester. If you have two harvesters and you can spam the zone troopers, then you can overcome Razorbacks, but one harvester is not great. Or Jackson, like if you had Jackson instead, then you can Jackson boost the zones and they'll be a lot more effective against the Razorbacks. But I mean, they'll obviously still win out eventually. These jump jets aren't going to do anything against the Razorback. That's not a problem. And we get some more zones. Alright, once we have two zones out, I don't really see how we lose anymore.
Unit lost.
Yeah, that should be game.
Unit ready.
Alright, cool.
Enemy base destroyed.
So in general, I think the deck... let me just grab this and I'll go look at the deck again. We can talk about it. I think in general, this deck, it lacks a little bit... It's like a little bit too heavy. It's a little bit too expensive. Its early game is a little bit weak. It's relying too much on opening free buildings. This is why traditionally Razorback decks have riflemen instead of dogs. Simply because you want to be able to go barracks and air tower. And you want to be able to do that as your first two buildings and then just have the missile Razorback combo and only go War Factory if it's required. You don't want to be forced to go War Factory, whereas if you open War Factory with dogs, you have to go War Factory. I also think that this deck was not a great Liang deck because you only really want to heal the Razorback and the Orca Bomber. Like, Pitbulls are okay to heal, but they're not amazing because obviously each Pitbull is the same cost as a Liang drone. So Sandstorm would make more sense. Or alternatively, Jackson as the commander would make more sense with zones. Jackson's also still very good with Pitbulls and Razorbacks. I'm also not I don't think I'm a big fan of the Orca Bomber plus the Zone Trooper. I think these two units, even though I have played them in my sniper deck, that was mostly to use the Zone Trooper skin rather than because I actually like Zone Trooper in that deck. I think that Zone Trooper and Borka are quite at odds with each other. They're both expensive tip sinks. It's very difficult to use both of them, ideally, and there's very few units where you want one rather than the other. Like, a lot of the time, you're making them to fight the same things. Like, Zone Troopers fight air as well, and Borkas fight things like Shatterer, but otherwise, like, if your opponent's making a lot of vehicles, you want to make Zone Troopers and have Razorback above them, rather than making Borkas still. So, the Borka doesn't really have a great role in the deck, I think. Anyway, that's my take on the deck, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I'll see you all next time.